Hello friends, this is Deepak from Appetaria. In our earlier video, we have seen about the static app shortcuts, and in this video, we will learn about the dynamic app shortcuts. So, static app, we have seen about the static app shortcuts. We can add those from the XML file, and it will be there fixed for the lifespan of the app in the particular phone. But dynamic apps can be inserted, updated, and removed from the user phone, and it can be specific to the user or any particular condition in your app, right? Say example, in our Gmail application, if I see the shortcuts, there is one fixed compose shortcut that is of a static type, and there will be multiple dynamic shortcuts if you have different email IDs in your Gmail application, right? So I'll just show you. So if I long press on the Gmail application icon, you can see the first is compose, that is static, and below that it is having different email IDs which are dynamic shortcuts. So shortcut manager is the API which you can use, or which we can use to create the dynamics, create, update, and remove the dynamic shortcuts. Let's see how to do it.
So I'm using Android Studio 3.5. I'll create a new project. I'll select empty activity and I'll name this project as dynamic shortcut exam. I'll select the language as Java and I'll click on finish. Okay, now the project is ready. Now adding dynamic link is comparatively more simpler than the static links. So to add the dynamic links, we need to use the shortcut manager. So in this on create, we will add an object of a class called as shortcut manager. So I'll say shortcut manager is equal to get system service. So we are going to use the system service who is managing all these shortcuts, and we'll create and we'll provide the name of the service, that is context or shortcut service. Now this method, that is get system service, returns an object, and we are saving that object into a variable of, or the object of a class shortcut manager. So it is showing error, then in that case we need to typecast the object to a shortcut manager. Now you can see the error has gone from the line, but it is still showing error here on the shortcut manager. And what this error says, that to use the shortcut manager you will need your project's API level to be 25. So it can run, or the shortcuts can be created in the Android version N, that is 25 and above. So below 25, Android version 25, shortcuts will not work. Now in this case you have two options. Either you can change your project's minimum SDK to 25. Now let's say, if for that you need to open the Gradle script, open the build.gradle file, and your project's minimum SDK is 25 here. So to support that shortcuts, you can change this number to 25 and you can click on sync now button. So as soon as you will do that, go to your main activity. Now you can see the error has gone. But this step may reduce the number of possible users to the app. Say example, if you keep your app's minimum SDK number to 15, you will get say 99% or the 100% of the users from the world. And if you change the minimum SDK version to 25, so it is more latest, so you might get only 70% or 60% users of the world having this version. So there is a possibility that you are losing the possible users, or you might lose your current users if your app is already on the Play Store, if you change the minimum SDK, or if you increment or if you use the higher version in the minimum SDK version. Now what is the another way or another option to use the shortcuts but do not affect the number of user or the minimum SDK? Use the minimum SDK as 15 and click on sync now. You can see that it is showing the error again, but to avoid this error we can check that if about this we can add if android.os.version.sdk int. That means the current SDK version of the phone in which this app is running is greater than or equal to the version codes dot 25, that is NMR1, that is major release 1 of the Android N version, that is 25. Now if it is greater than that, then it will add the dynamic shortcut or it will not. So this is the if condition. If the current version of the phone in which this app is running is greater than or equal to 25, then we can use the shortcut. Now this error has gone and even our app's minimum SDK is still 15, so it will work or it will run on all your users' phone, but only users having Android version 25 and above can see these dynamic shortcuts. Okay, now let's start adding the shortcut in our project. So now to add the shortcut, first we need to create the list of shortcut info. Just import the class and we'll name it as shortcut info list is equal to new array list. We'll press the semicolon. Then this is the list, and in this list we are going to add different shortcuts. So first create a shortcut info, a shortcut, simply name it as shortcut equal to new shortcut info dot builder to build the shortcut. Now this build takes two parameters, one is context and another is string. So context will pass the activity context, that is this, and string is ID of the shortcut. So this we will call it as website, and then we will set the different attributes as we have done in the static. But in case of static we have done all, or we have set all the attributes in the XML file. Here we'll do it through a method called as set short label. So here in the short label we will say website, and then we'll say set long label, and here we will say open the website. Then we will say set icon. Then in this case now we need to first create the icon. So right click on app folder, new vector asset, search for the icon. Okay, we'll select this language and we'll name it as IC_web. We'll say next and finish. Okay, now the icon is ready. Now to set it here we need to say icon dot create from item from create with resource. So we have our file icon in the resource. So we'll say icon dot create from resource. The first parameter is context, so we'll again pass this as a context, and second parameter is the ID of the resource. So we'll say r dot drawable dot ic underscore web. Okay, that's set the icon for our shortcut. Now let's set the intent. Intent means through this we will specify like which activity we want to open. Now in this example we are going to open the implicit intent, that is we are going to open a website through a browser when user will click on this shortcut. So we'll say in the intent we will pass a new intent, and in this intent first we will specify the action which we want to perform. So we will say action view, as we want to open a website, and here we need to pass the data. So the data will be uri.parse, and in that uri.parse we need to provide the URL. So we'll say http://www.apeteria.com, and that's it for the intent, just action and the data. And then we'll say dot build to build the shortcut. Now this will build the shortcut. Now we need to add this shortcut in the list. So we'll say shortcut info list dot add, and in that we'll add the shortcut. Okay, now one shortcut is added. Now we will simply copy these lines to add one more shortcut. So I'll just copy this, I will paste it below, and here I'll just remove the declaration. I'm going to use the same shortcut, but I will overwrite the other information in this. So now in this case I want to create an explicit intent which will open another activity of our project. So for that we will add one more activity in our project. So I'll create one more empty activity. I will keep name as main2 activity, and also we need an icon for this. Right click on app folder, new vector asset, and here this time I will select the Android logo. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and I'll name it as IC Android. Next, and finish. Okay, now we'll go back to main activity, and in this now we are going to create our second icon, shortcut. So we'll say shortcut.builder. This ID of the shortcut we'll name it as open, then the short label as open, and the long label as open activity. Then the icon, so we will use the same create icon with resource, but we'll change the ID of the icon, that is IC Android. So it will create a Android icon for this shortcut. Now in this case we are not going to use the implicit intent, we want to create the explicit intent. So for that we'll say new intent. Till this it is fine, but we need to remove all these information. Okay, I have found one more. Okay, now here we are having intent is equal to new intent, and in this intent we need to call the explicit intent. So in case of explicit intent we'll say main activity dot this comma main2 activity dot class. So this will, here we are specifying that we want to open the main2 activity. Now it is not showing any syntax error here. So if you just run, so it is adding two shortcuts, but it will give you error at runtime because only creating an intent will not work. Along with that, you need to set the action to this intent, even if it is a explicit type of intent. So we need to call this method called as set action, and here you need to pass the custom action which we are performing here. So we'll say open. So not only creating the intent is enough, along with that you need to set the action, or it will give you some runtime error when you will execute that without adding the action to your intent. Okay, now the shortcuts are ready. Now we have added that to a list, but still the list is not in use, and even the shortcut manager is not in use. So we need to link this list with the shortcut manager. So we'll say shortcut manager dot set dynamic shortcuts, and in this we'll pass the object of shortcut info list. So this is how we are linking these shortcuts we have just created here to the shortcut manager. So that's it. We have created two shortcuts. One is opening the implicit intent, one is opening the website through implicit intent, and another is opening a activity class through a explicit intent. Okay, so the way we have added the shortcuts, the same way every time whenever you want to modify or remove the shortcuts, you can use different methods like shortcut manager dot update shortcuts. It takes same list like this. So when you'll run the app first, we will just add the shortcuts using this, and when next time, like based on the condition, if you want to change the shortcuts, you can simply create shortcuts like this. If you want to, let's say when user will open the activity next time or open the app next time, we want to add one more shortcut to this, so simply add one more shortcut in this list and then pass that list to this method called as update shortcuts. So this will update the existing two shortcuts and it will show three shortcuts. Same way, let's say the functionality which you want to implement through the shortcut is completed and you don't want these shortcuts, then you can simply say remove shortcuts and you can pass the list. Let's say out of these three I want to remove only one or two, so I'll just create the list of two shortcuts which I want to remove and I'll pass the list to the this method. So this method take the list of shortcut IDs. It is not the object, so I need to pass IDs like this. So for this we need to create list of string and we'll say IDs is equal to new array list, and in this we'll say IDs dot add, and suppose from this I want to delete the icon for the open, so I'll just copy this ID and I'll add it here. So this is the ID which I want to remove and I'll pass the ID. So this will remove this particular shortcut when I'll run the app again. There is one more method called as shortcut manager dot remove all dynamic shortcuts. So it will remove all the dynamic shortcuts which we have added using this add dynamic shortcuts or update dynamic shortcuts method. So it will remove all the dynamic shortcuts from your app icon. So these shortcuts are added. Now you will need a phone which is having SDK 25 and above to test the application. Now we will just execute this and we'll see the result. Okay, so this is the output of the app. So it is opening main activity when I am clicking on the icon of the icon, and if I long press, it is showing two dynamic shortcuts, that is website and open. Now if I click on website, it is opening a browser and it is opening the website, Appeteria's website, as we have mentioned the URL of appeteria.com. Now I'll just close this, and if I again long press it and if I click on open, it is just opening another activity of our project, that is main activity. This activity is having nothing on the screen, so it is showing just white screen, and if I click on that, it is showing hello world. So that's about dynamic shortcuts in your Android app. Hope this video will be helpful for you. Thank you for watching. Please do like, comment and share this video with your friends, those who are learning Android. Please subscribe to our channel and press the bell button. Thank you.